welcome to episode 8 of Learning the Ropes. My name is Matt.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Tyler. The Maverick.
The Maverick. Can I be Goose?
No, don't be Goose. Don't be Goose.
Can I be dead?
You know, fun fact.
Which one was Val Kilmer? Iceman.
He was Iceman. You know, fun fact about those planes, it was actually not as graphic as it could have been. Those planes have a habit of decapitating their pilots upon ejections. Yeah, really bad engineered. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Anyway, wrestling.
Anyway, yeah. Wrestling this week, dude.
This week,
it's a good one. It's a doozy.
It's a good one. Tyler. What do you know about the Royal Rumble match?
About the Royal Rumble match? Wait.
As a concept, as a match concept.
A bunch of people fight, right?
Yeah, that is that's certainly
not an inaccurate summation.
Yeah. So basically, the Royal Rumble match is a 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. You get eliminated by both feet touching the floor. Entry numbers for the match are drawn at random. Numbers 1 and number 2 start in the ring at the start of the match, and every 2 minutes or 90 seconds, depending on when the Royal Rumble match is taking place, they change it around a couple of times. A new competitor joins, and the last man standing in the ring is declared the winner of the Royal Rumble.
In order to get to that last man standing, important thing to mention, you're eliminated when you're thrown over the top rope, and both your feet touch the floor. And usually the winner of the Royal Rumble match would get a title shot, a world championship match headlining WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, the biggest pay-per-view of the year. But this Royal Rumble match in particular, 1992, isn't an ordinary Royal Rumble match. In this one, the winner will become the that's so many W's. I just started rolling with the W's and they just kept falling out of my mouth. 2 W's, WWF. How does Michael Cole do this all the time? They'll become the heavyweight champion of the world. Keep all of that, I swear to God. Why? Why is the belt on the line for this one? Well, if we remember talking about last week, the belt was vacated by President Jack Tunney after this Tuesday in Texas when Hulk Hogan, nursing the world's most serious and real neck injury, won the world championship back from The Undertaker amid a bunch of shenanigans. Jack Tunney was just like, all right, way too much happened in that match. And even though all of it happened against Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan still won, we gotta just vacate it and had the Royal Rumble winner gets to be champ.
Now, some of the notable names here in this Royal Rumble, like I said, it's going to be 30 people. We're going to just kind of
it's a lot of people.
Yeah. We're going to be just like giving you some broad strokes on some of the iconic people, especially people that we haven't really touched on yet during the course of Learning the Ropes. First up, Ric Flair, who we did
we saw him. You know,
we saw him.
He popped in.
He popped in last week a little bit.
He broke Hulk Hogan's neck through putting that chair there.
Yeah, so he's a iconic National Wrestling Alliance champion. He's probably the biggest name outside of the WWF until he signs it with Vince McMahon. One of those guys that's traveled around the world at this point. Won world championships everywhere he's gone. He says woo a lot.
I think I know about Ric Flair. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that. Also, featured in this Royal Rumble, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. He's a graduate of the Hart Dungeon, and we will cover him more later, so I'm not going to get too in depth about that.
He's real beefy.
Oh, he's beefy. You'll see. He's very beefy. We also have Tito Santana, who is an iconic Intercontinental Champion. Had a bunch of great matches with Macho Man. and just one of those guys that's like, yeah, he was historically good, but we haven't really touched on him much.
We're also gonna see the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, who you actually won't hear them call him Kerry Von Erich, only the Texas Tornado. So the Von Erichs are one of the biggest wrestling families outside of like maybe the Anoa'is, which is like The Rock, Roman Reigns, like the whole Samoan wrestling dynasty. Those people. They like rule the Texas independent wrestling scene. I say independent. It didn't work like that back then. It was, the Texas regional wrestling scene up until both the death of the Texas wrestling scene and also the death of most of the Von Erichs.
Wait, what?
Their family is one of those families that people say is cursed.
They ju- they just die?
A lot of the Von Erichs die.
Yep.
Is it like Kennedy's, or like they're just dropping like flies, or
Basically,
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, skiing. There's a skiing trip. There's plane crashes. See, what?
One dies of cancer. One drowns in a puddle at the age of 6.
What?
One dies in a
In a
hotel.
puddle?
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you drown in a puddle?
He was like shocked.
He was a child. He's not a strong swimmer.
He was also a child, but he was like
How do you
shocked
swim?
and then like fell face first in a puddle and drowned.
Oh my god!
God damn.
Wow!
David
Oh,
Von Erich died
shit.
of enteritis, which is an inflammation of the small intestine. Mike, Chris, and Carrie all commit suicide.
The puddle was gonna get him, alright? It was out of the puddle. I should have made jokes like that. I'm going to hell.
And then
I'll be all ours, fine. We'll see you boys
Kevin
there.
Von Erich is the only surviving Von Erich of the like 5 Von Erich children. And a lot of people say that there's a Von Erich curse. It's like the colloquial term. Because like a lot of like even some of like the like further generational like Von Erichs also die pretty early in their lives, and then also like cousins and like people who marry into the family also are like supposedly cursed, and yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, we
I don't know how
also
to respond
got
to that.
we also got in this match. You're gonna meet the Repo Man, Tyler the Repo Man.
This sounds familiar. I'm sure
He's a Repo Man.
I think
He
we talked about him
repossesses
last
stuff.
week.
Yeah, I think we probably did, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a Repo Man in that like he just takes stuff from people. He's a thief, not a Repo Man. Nobody owes any money on any of the things he steals from them. He just steals from them.
yeah,
I should do that. I'm
And
the
he
Repo
wrestles.
Man and just take their shit. I should try that. I should do that.
sorry, work is messaging me,
Just silence after that.
Fun.
but I'm good.
Okay, I should do that. It just ends. The episode's just over. It's just a half an hour. Just nothing.
Just us sitting here.
Another notable name, Greg the Hammer Valentine, also another big name outside of the WWF. He I don't know if you notice a little bit of a pattern, but when people sign on from outside the WWF, they kind of get put into like kind of weird positions. Like Kerry Von Erich, they strip away his name, his iconic name, and make him the Texas Tornado. Greg the Hammer Valentine, he comes in, he's iconic wrestler of the NWA, AWA, and teams with the Honky Tonk Man as like another Elvis impersonator gimmick. Another big name that we see is Nikolai Volkov. His thing is that he's
It's a
Russian.
cool name. Yeah, no, I wasn't. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, he's
Yeah.
like Eastern European, huh?
His thing
Tried
is
and true.
he's Russian, and the curtain hasn't fallen yet.
Yeah.
So
I see. So they just beat the shit out of him, huh? Probably is that what's gonna
Yeah.
happen? They
The
just like get
classic-
his ass.
The classic good flag, bad flag.
That guy knows how to
Wrestling
read. Kill him.
situation. Speaking of bad flags, the big boss man is a cop.
Ooh.
I feel like that's a disservice to the man himself because he's very
Shout out to the cops in our audience. Go fuck yourself.
iconic and an influential wrestler. Yeah, he's like one of those iconic big men, and he was like surprisingly could kind of move and be quicker than you expect a man his size to be. And that led to a bunch of other wrestlers that were like very influenced by the big boss man in their style and like their look and stuff. Also in this Royal Rumble, legend icon Roddy Piper, star of They Live, and host of Piper's Pit, one of the like most iconic. Wrestling has a lot of like talk show segments. In Piper's Pit, we've talked about it once, I think, in the first episode. And yeah, he's one of the greatest like talkers of all time. Inspired everybody. CM Punk, also his greatest legacy, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. His the only one to equal Piper on the mic.
we have just made enemies of the entire Squared Circle subreddit.
Is this are these hot takes?
Yeah, Ronda Rousey is not good on the mic. I'll drop the act. It's a bit.
Oh yeah,
Leave me
no,
alone.
okay, yeah, no. I was just making sure. I'm like, oh, is that where her name comes from? Is she like a wrestling fan? That's literally my.
That is where her name comes from. She is a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
She is
You're
a
lying to me
wrestler.
now.
No, she is a wrestler now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is now, but she was also called Ronda Rousey when she was in the UFC.
No. The Ronda Rousey's her name. Rowdy is not her name.
Oh, you're correct. That's not her
She
name.
took that from Piper.
I see.
And also like her like look kind of. She does a lot of like wearing the fucking skirt or whatever.
Yeah.
Dressing like Roddy Piper. Good for her.
We also see Jake the Snake Roberts. He's the inventor of the DDT, which is like the most iconic wrestling move aside from maybe the pile driver.
Or the super kick.
Or the super kick. I think the DDT, like if you're like on the street and you're like, name me a wrestling move, I feel like
I'm on
it'll
the streets
be
a lot.
one of three things. It'll be a pile driver, a power bomb, or a DDT.
I think Swedish music, dude. We don't need to get into this. Either way,
can
DDT.
Agree to disagree.
DDT probably gets used more widely than the super kick.
Oh yeah, it becomes it like it is just a move people do now. But he invented it and used it as his finisher.
Fucking
Also
in the ring or in the streets? I've never seen the things in the streets. I've never. I would like to see somebody pull something like that on me on the streets.
Just slam your head into concrete.
I'm a 5'7" white man. I don't wander the streets. It's a lie. I'm dropping the act.
He also innovates the short arm clothesline. He is one of the best talkers of all fucking time. I mean, he like a couple of years ago returned to wrestling, kind of not in an actual wrestling sense, but managing Lance Archer in AEW, and he's still fantastic talker, one of the greatest of all time. He also carries a snake, quotes around the named Damien around with him. There totally has only been one snake named Damien.
For sure. Always the same
only
species.
totally one. Always the same snake. It bit Macho Man once. He's cool.
Oh yeah, we actually have the good flag to Nikolai Volkov's bad flag. We have Hacksaw Jim Duggan. God, I wish I could talk today. Oh, it's a good day to do a podcast. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who is winner of the first ever Royal Rumble match. And he is a carrier of 2x4s and American flags. He does like the USA chant a lot, and that kind of stuff. We also have an icon of the business, IRS, Erwin R. Shyster. That's his character's name, and Shyster. Yeah.
Bikester?
He works for the IRS. He's here to collect your
Shyster.
taxes.
Nice. Okay.
Which is understandably like one of the bigger heel gimmicks of the era, you know?
He was executed by Vince McMahon. He had him shot in the ring.
We also see Jimmy Superfly Snuka, part of the NOI family, I believe just through marriage, but still part of that family. He has an iconic cage match, the first WWF cage match, in 1983 against Don Morocco. Also an actual murderer. We talked about this last week.
Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah. Yikes.
There are dark parts to wrestling, and Jimmy Snuka's one of them. Anyway, we also have Virgil, the former butler / bodyguard of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Butler and wait, is he like Mac from It's Always Sunny? He's a butler
Basically,
and a bodyguard.
in that he like wrestled, and
Wow.
also was the butler of Ted DiBiase. Also in this Royal Rumble is Colonel Mustafa, otherwise known as the Iron Sheik, everyone's favorite Twitter account. He's an absolute legend, the user of the camel clutch. He will break your back and fuck your ass to make you humble. Those are his words.
Huh. Are they his words or is
you
that
can look it up. But yeah, really great to follow on Twitter. Entertaining highlights such as this one tweet example that I've pulled. Quote the Iron Sheik, at the _ Iron Sheik on Twitter. Ultimate Warrior, only man to make baby from his ass. His baby name is Ultimate Warrior Idiot Ass Baby.
Yo.
Banger tweets only.
That's a banger.
He also shits on Hogan so much.
Oh yeah, he really does. He fucking detests Hulk Hogan. That's where I get the like fuck the Hulk Hogan from. I've said it before. Iron Sheik energy, baby, all the way. Hating on Hogan is my name.
Oh man, I'm gonna follow him. He's followed by like half the people that I fucking follow. Straight out of my mouth, go fuck yourself. 46 minutes ago. Nice. The reasonable next step is for you all to go fuck yourself.
He's a legend.
56 minutes ago.
The dude's insane in the best way.
Yo. Signing love to the people of Buffalo. Yo,
Dude's
absolute legend.
And the other person we're gonna highlight in this, last person we're gonna highlight, Sid Justice, later goes known as Psycho Sid, Sid Vicious, iconic big man in wrestling. He has like a look that you would think Vince would like strap just a fucking rocket to, but he is he's not very smart. There's not a lot going on in the old noggin of Sid Justice. This is an actual quote of an unscripted promo that Sid Justice once cut. He went, but you know, and I know that you're half the man that I am, and I have half the brain that you do. And then he just has the most confused face afterwards as he's trying to figure out. He knows he said something incorrectly. He's not 100% sure what he said incorrectly. The other like iconic thing that a lot of people see from Sid is when he broke his leg literally in half.
It's bad.
He was asked, or he was told to by WCW to incorporate some high flying into his moveset. And he was like, I don't do that, but sure. And he decided to do a diving big boot. So the big boot, you raise one leg up, kick someone in the face, right? So this man jumps he's a 320-pound plus man, jumps from the top rope to kick someone in the face with one of his legs and land with the other one on the ground planted. Do you see what happened?
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yes, I do.
We will not subject you to a clip.
Oh, really? I was looking for one.
I mean, if you really want to show Tyler, and if Tyler's down.
I'm good. I don't want to see legs break. I mean, I do, but it's not. That might sour.
You'll be bloodthirsty for the rest of the
Sour the rest of the
episode.
podcast. I already am bloodthirsty.
Oh, it's
That's my
bad.
default.
I have the clip. Tyler, I'll give you one last chance. If you want to see this.
I'm good. I'm good. It's really tempting, but I'm
Alright.
good. Oh man, so tempting.
I'll keep you from seeing it.
I'm sorry. I have one more tweet from the Iron Sheik. Fuck the Milky Way.
Agreed.
It's getting away with too much, boys. Fuck that galaxy. All about Andromeda, alright? I'm all about
Yeah, fuck
Andromeda.
that chocolate
Oh
bar.
my god.
Alright, I think with that, we're ready to watch this Royal Rumble match.
Is Ric Flair Catholic?
I don't know, man.
My man got beat up for an hour, and then God was like, "This is your gift. That's the most Catholic thing you can do."
Ric Flair taking the Royal Rumble match like Job and coming out with the World Wrestling Federation Championship.
Coming in hot.
Back.
The winner of the Royal Rumble match is, of course, the man, fucking Space Mountain, the alimony pony, the dirtiest player in the game, the jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing son of a gun, styling and profiling the nature boy Ric Flair. Those are
Dude.
all of his nicknames, Tyler.
Those are all nicknames. The alimony pony.
You gotta be taller to have that many names, and I'm short. You can't have that many nicknames. If there's a 7-foot tall guy named the fucking Undertaker and that's it, you can't have all that. You can't, dude. I'm sorry. It's just.
Dude, just wait until you hear about Chris Jericho.
Oh,
you know the whole how you talk about Ric Flair getting his ass beat for all of this Royal Rumble and then coming away with the victory. That's his shtick. That was his.
He just gets beat. He just gets beat up, and then he wins.
He would be the world heavyweight champion, and it wouldn't even be that he would win. He would talk a lot of shit. Legendary, voice of professional wrestling. The kind of shit that he said. Most of those nicknames he made up himself. He would talk a lot of shit, and he would cheat his way to victory, or more often than not, the biggest babyface in whatever local wrestling promotion would challenge him to a match. Ric Flair would come to where you lived, and your hometown hero would wrestle him for 60 whole ass minutes, beating his ass, and Ric Flair trying to just kind of stick in there, trade out with him, begging him to stop hurting him, and then the time limit would run out, and Ric Flair would walk away with this championship, not having lost. Time limit draws, baby. Ric Flair's way. My dad would be so excited. I just said a lot of words, so.
I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I wanted him to lose so bad.
He's probably wrestling's greatest heel.
Yeah.
I mean,
is he a heel?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
We'll get to more of Ric Flair later. Because right now we're covering classic WWF. We are gonna go back and cover some more classic matches outside of the WWF, like NWA, AWA, the stuff Ric Flair is like really known for. And you're gonna see there how much of a piece of shit Ric Flair is. Like Andrew said, he would like come out and do like 60-minute draws with like hometown heroes, or like his finishing move is the figure 4 leg lock, which we saw briefly in this match. But it's a submission move, so the opponent has to tap out. And so
Huh.
he would cheat his way into making his opponent tap out. And like we said, it would be like he would travel, like he mostly wrestled in the South, right? He would
Mhm.
travel up to like, let's say, Chicago area to like AW like a AWA show in Chicago, and just cheat his way into tapping out the biggest Chicago star, and just getting massive boos. He led a group called the Four Horsemen that at one point held like all the gold in the National Wrestling Alliance. Um, he's a really big deal in wrestling. To the point that, I mean, I don't remember if we mentioned this on the show already or not, or if I mentioned it while we were watching the match. He's training to return to the ring now.
What's he training
Yeah.
for? He's just gonna get the shit kicked out of him and then win.
He's training because he's like
He's
70
training.
something years old.
He's getting hit by a car every day. That's his training. He
He's
walks into traffic every single day.
he's 73 years old, and yeah, he's training for a match. The rumor is that it's gonna be him and FTR versus um versus some other team that's not like set in stone yet. Apparently Ricky Steamboat declined having a match against Flair. Which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Flair's career literally spans like 50 fucking years. He
Yo.
Huh.
He's wrestled for Jim Crockett Promotions. He wrestled for World Championship Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, Total Nonstop Action, fucking uh 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 AWA, Mid South Wrestling, All Japan Pro Wrestling, World of Sports. Like the International Wrestling Enterprise. Just he even wrestled at Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he would travel the world, and also I think a big part of his gimmick, especially when he was younger, um, was like he would be ostentatiously wealthy, and he's like a like pretty blonde guy, and so it was just like he's one of the most like, oh fuck this guy, like this dude
Mhm.
just sucks.
Yeah, no, he just sucks. He
But
just
at the same
does.
time, he just has like this insane charisma of like the
Uh,
way that he talks, and like I I like classic Ric Flair a lot, and I know my dad did too.
He One of his nicknames is Space Mountain. Do you want to know why, Tyler?
sure. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Because it's the oldest ride with the longest line.
Oh my god.
A lot of women he had lined up to fucking ride Space Mountain, if you know what I mean.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So like Ric Flair debuts in 1972. He was fully active full time until like 2002. No, later.
Later,
Uh
because
Way later.
Evolution.
Evolution. He is like active until 2008.
Like 2008.
Yeah, WrestleMania 24.
If we're talking, yeah, a thing that we're almost definitely gonna watch later on the show that I don't want to spoil too much of. It's yeah, like 2008, like 2008,
Like
2009.
participating in every weekly show kind of deal.
Yeah,
Like active. He was active full time from 1972 to 2008.
Oh.
Like at this point in wrestling, we're talking about like we're in the transition period from the Hulk Hogan era to like the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart era. But basically, the point is, like, we're talking about transitioning out of the Hogan era, but the Flair era, like, continues on for so long. He's still involved in the main event scene, basically until his retirement or
Getting
his
his
first
ass beat
retirement.
for 40 years.
We're this is probably the best chance to kind of talk about some of his like biggest accomplishment, probably, right,
Yeah.
Andrew? Uh, he holds the distinguished record of the most world championships of any wrestler.
My man is 16-time world champion.
16-time asterisk. So he is a 16-time world champion from the championships that are recognized by the WWE. So he's an 8-time NWA world champion, 6-time WCW world champion, and 2-time WWF champion. But if you count like some of the other like quote unquote world titles he's held, he's a 21-time world champion. The person who is closest to beating his record is John Cena.
Does he ever just not get beat up?
He hangs in there, but it is more about like I don't know. He hangs in there, but he gets beat up because it's supposed to be
Maybe
the
because
catharsis of Ric Flair.
this is my first exposure to him, because literally all he did tonight was just walk around the ring and have 28 men just tee off on him.
He would pick a fight with a guy, and then the guy would just beat his ass.
And then he'd get back up, and then another guy would just beat his ass. Literally, he didn't want any of that. He was always just getting ragdolled or on the ground, and then they would get bored like a cat, and then go walk away, and then someone else would just walk up and just fucking drop him again.
I think part of the point also with that it was to like really give the audience the catharsis of seeing Ric Flair getting beaten up by fucking everyone.
Yeah. You're supposed to just enjoy seeing Ric Flair get his ass beat. He's such a piece of shit that you just like, oh yeah, I get him, The Undertaker, please.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, that was my opinion on him.
Unless you're Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh yeah, he promised to be a better person. Does he ever become a better person, or is that like a spoiler for next? Oh, okay, spoiler for next week.
Not even close. Bobby Heenan is incorruptible in his corruptness. He will never turn to the side of good.
In general, Tyler, what did you think of this like match format, the Royal Rumble?
God, it was so long. It kept going. Kept going. There were some moments that were fun. I got brought back in when the Repo Man showed up. That brought some life into me. The little rascal popped out. It was, I think, more fun when less people were in the ring. Like above 2, but like less than like 8, because it's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah,
they kind of rectify that. You'll notice that a lot of the time everyone was in the ring, and but the rule is you have to be thrown over the top rope, so you could slide out of the ring if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And like in more modern Royal Rumble matches, they really take advantage of that, and like we'll do a lot of showcases of just like action in the ring, and then like have a bunch of people leave the ring. But that's not really a thing here. It happens a couple of times where like Undertaker goes out, Randy Savage goes out technically by the top rope, but they like air it away.
Which I think that's one of my things with this Royal Rumble is that I think it's good as far as Royal Rumbles are concerned, including like by kind of modern standards, it's pretty good. Which is to say that like really bad Royal Rumble matches are really, really bad.
They are really, yeah.
But I think if anything, the 90-second time between entrants, and especially they're way more about fudging that 90 seconds in like more modern rumbles. I think it makes the pacing of it a little bit better. So that you're not as focused on the like, oh yeah, between times where dudes are coming in, there's a lot of just like milling about up against the edges of the ring trying to shove people over the top rope.
Yeah, because in this match it was 2 minutes between competitors. They do shorten that up to 90 in the future. And yeah, they're super not consistent with the time now.
It kind of felt like there were times where it was more than like 2 minutes here. Was that like real, or was it just slow sometimes?
I think it's hard to say. It's probably a combination of both. Like sometimes they would fudge it if they really needed to, but there were also a lot of points where it was probably just slow. But like people have timed like modern ones, and it's supposed to be 90 seconds in modern rumbles, but
Does it have anime counting?
yes, it has anime counting in both ways though.
It's gonna be out in 10 seconds. It's been 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because they only put up a timer for the last 10 seconds, so they could just like wait. But mostly, from my understanding of more modern rumbles, is they fudge it the other way though, where they're like 90 seconds, but like actually it's a minute.
Yeah.
It's a minute and change
Oh,
instead of
I
90
see.
seconds.
They're like, you see, we get like this person in here and they have history with this person, so they're gonna attack them like really strong. And and that guy's a baby face, so we need somebody his tag team partner is gonna come save him. So yeah, like you can start the 10-second countdown at like 45 seconds. Like it's barely been, it's like, oh, has it been 30 seconds already? Send a guy out. Like something needs to happen. And yeah, we will watch more of these Royal Rumbles. And so it'll be interesting because this is still one of the earlier
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. We'll see how like the format evolves. It'll be interesting to go through that.
And with that, let's this will be a hard one to rate, but let's go over the match
Oh
ratings.
boy, yeah.
Andrew, what do you think about it?
I would put this one like 3.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solidly entertaining.
Solidly entertaining. As far as Rumbles go, I'm a big proponent of a Royal Rumble is more fun based on more of like the credible winners. So like this one had a decent chunk of like, oh yeah, I could see it. Not even that like obviously I've known about Royal Rumble 92 forever, but like it's just cool to have like all these moments of like, oh yeah, Roddy Piper's fighting Ric Flair right now. Ric Flair's fighting Hulk Hogan right now. Like all those like characters coming together. Which is also on a tangent, I'm now just cannibalizing the rating segment. But it'll be interesting to watch Tyler because I think the Royal Rumble gets better the more attachments you have to wrestling.
That's
Like
fair.
the more
I cared more the more I saw people that I know coming out.
yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see when it's like we're a little bit further down the line watching like a slightly later Royal Rumble, and it's like mostly characters that have already been introduced and developed in some kind of way.
For sure. And yeah, I am this was really hard to rate. It's up there in terms of Rumbles. The Rumble is one of those matches that like it's when it's good, it isn't like the same amount of good as like a singles match, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like a Rumble match to me probably won't ever break 4 stars just inherently because of the way the Rumble works, but like you were saying, Andrew, there were so many little moments of like, oh shit, in the ring right now is Shawn Michaels, the British Bulldog, and Ric Flair. And like that's not necessarily a big deal in context. Like if you're or like if you're watching it in like just the mindset of the time period, but if you're watching it now, you're like, holy shit, these are three of the best wrestlers of all time in the ring together. And like you think about things that happen later on with them, and it just I don't know. Knowing knowing a lot of these wrestlers and knowing where they go, I think skews it higher for me, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna actually agree with you, Andrew, and go with the 3.5. Now, Tyler,
I'm gonna rank pretty hard here
yeah,
because I'm the young lion and I don't know stuff. I don't know these people yet, so that this could change after I come back with more knowledge. But I'm gonna give it a 2.
yeah.
There was
No,
just
that's
too much for me to like absorb it at times. I
it'll
just had
be.
I like had to like check out sometimes.
I get that with a Royal Rumble for sure. It'll be really interesting in a few episodes from now. When we get to the like we're gonna be doing kind of a roundup of the Rocket Wrestling era. Um and where we're gonna kind of go over all the matches and like rate them again. It'll be interesting to see where the Royal Rumble changes for you, Tyler.
If it
As
does.
you if it does, once you see like more of like the British Bulldog and Ric Flair and Roddy Piper and some of the guys that are in there.
I
How
also am gonna I'm gonna say right now I'm gonna have the most inconsistent like scale on like how I like rate matches. Like it just vibed for
oh
me half the
uh,
time.
yeah, for sure. And I mean that's kind of part of the reason why we're wanting to do that kind of like roundup is to like because how you feel in the moment of watching it is so important to
Mm,
watching it. And like I've said a bunch of times that like matches that I've watched by like for doing notes beforehand I've hated, and then I come and watch it with you guys, and then it has skewed my opinion a lot because we're able to like talk about it, talk during the match and stuff.
Mhm.
Um so but like part of the reason is to just like reanalyze it with like more context. And we'll, yeah, I think it'll be a really interesting thing to kind of um see how we skew. Anyway, so it's a solid 2 from Tyler. Now, in terms of historical ratings, Mr. Dave Meltzer, best friend of the show.
Friend of the show, absolutely.
him
Yeah. Close acquaintance of the show. Uh colleague of the show, obviously.
Dude.
Um sponsored by the Wrestling Observer. Um I actually might have I don't know the legality of saying you're sponsored by someone that you're not.
I don't think you could say that.
People do the bit all the time. That's one thing I know. People do that bit all the time. They'll
Um,
be like, I really like eating Doritos, but not sponsored. But I could be. Doritos? Doritos.
yeah, Dave Meltzer, if you're watching, which we know you are because friend of the show.
Yeah, you're a friend of the show.
Um, and Vince McMahon too, friend of the show. We accept sponsorships. WWE, if you want to sponsor a show, Wrestling Observer, if you want to sponsor a show, fuck it. If Ringside News wants to sponsor a show, if Sean Ross Sapp wants to sponsor a show, if you know,
We're shilling super hard now. We are. I want it to be
We don't have
abundantly
any
fucking
money.
clear. I
We
want
don't
it to
have any
be
money.
crystal fucking clear to everybody listening right now. We are looking for the earliest fucking opportunity to sell out as soon as humanly possible.
yeah. So Harry's hit me up. Casper Mattress hit me up. Everyone just hit me up.
You ever hear of a goddamn classic called Raid Shadow Legends?
It's my favorite game, Andrew.
Of all time. Ocarina of what? Raid
can't-
Shadow Legends.
So you actually can't hit skip ad while you're recording it. So kind of unfortunate, if I'm being honest. Sort of sad.
Anyway, historical rating. Dave Meltzer, friend of the show, gave it a 3.75.
Fuck Dave.
Why would you say that to friend of the show, Dave?
No, we're gonna have pizza, or we'll talk about it over pizza
Can I
and
have
beers as
words?
we do.
Yeah. I put all my energy into that selling out bit. So
Yeah,
Dave
so-
gave it 3.75, huh?
Yeah, and
Good
it's
Dave.
actually kind of interesting because when me and Andrew were kind of putting together the list of what matches we were going to show you, Tyler, we knew we wanted to do some Royal Rumbles, but we knew we didn't want to do every Royal Rumble because a lot of them, especially the early ones, are really bad.
Yeah.
And it's interesting kind of seeing like rankings of Royal Rumbles because a lot of people put this one like number 1, number 2. Like it's one of the top ones, and so it'll be interesting to see like Andrew was saying, once we get to a later one with more context, I think the next one we do is 95, right?
We got a
Yeah,
little
not-
bit, is what you're saying.
Little bit of a spoiler. Not Royal Rumble 95, Royal Rumble 1995.
And Tyler, the year 1995 in professional wrestling has an esteemed context of being absolute dog shit. There's an interesting reason why we're going to watch Royal Rumble 1995, but I think if anything, it'll be nice to provide some context for what was going on in the WWF in 1995. You're going to see a whole bunch of people you don't give a fuck about, is what I'm saying.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want to
Yeah,
hear when you're
we'll-
introducing somebody to wrestling.
You know how this Royal Rumble had Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker and Ric Flair and Macho Man and Roddy Piper and like all these, the British Bulldog, all these fucking dudes. Not every Royal Rumble's like that, is what I'm gonna say.
Sometimes they're the Royal Rumble 2022.
Oof. Oof. Oof indeed.
When they're like, man, we only have like 32 contracted wrestlers right now. Somehow. And this is a 30-man match, so we have to throw fucking everyone in it. And
Yeah.
oof.
Oh, good.
Anyway, I think that about makes it our show.
So since recording from, hang on, sorry, I'm gonna plug something at the end here. Since recording since last week, shortly afterward, Jesse Ventura, our boy, friend of the show, posted on Twitter, big things in the work. Jesse, if you're running for president, if anyone out there can get in touch with it, all right? We will interview him on the show, all right? We are open ears, all right? We will support whatever he has to say. We will interview him. So, Jesse, if you're running and we want you to run, we're here for you. Come on the show. That's all I gotta say.
I'm all for it. Support. Second that.
Fuck the Milky Way.